Hey guys, I'm Andrés Franken.
No, start over.
What?
Louder.
My voice hurts,
What's
man.
up, guys?
Alright.
Drink your water if you need to.
Down to the wire.
What's up, guys? I'm Andrés Franken,
And I'm Shawn and Andrés.
and this is Down to the Wire. We're back. First of all, we want to apologize for the delay on this video.
It's totally his fault. But
I've been pretty sick the last couple of days. I'm still not at 100%.
and I'm sacrificing my health because I want to get this done.
Okay, I'm not contagious anymore, bro.
Alright, so the way we're going to do this video is we're going to preview the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference. We are splitting the video into two. So one will be the East, one will be the West, because we're doing a special edition. No segment this week. We'll start a segment next NBA video for the NBA. And we'll start over with the Eastern Conference and starting in the Atlantic Division where our home team, the Toronto Raptors, are. What are you looking forward to seeing and what are you expecting in this division?
What I'm expecting is the Boston Celtics to keep improving on their improvements of the last 3 seasons. I think they might overtake the Raptors as top team in our division. Brad Stevens, their head coach, has exceeded expectations over the last 3 years. They've had better records every year. Most importantly, the Celtics have something that the Raptors are missing, and that's ball movement. The Celtics don't really have the all-star power that the Raptors do in Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan, but we've seen how when the Raptors get into the playoffs, they really struggle because DeRozan and Lowry don't really have a reliable tertiary scorer. They feel the pressure and start taking ill-advised shots in an attempt to carry that weight. The Celtics, in contrast, have some of the best ball movement in the league. Last season, they finished 6th in the league in assists. If you compare that to the Raptors, they were 29th in the league. Only the Lakers were worse at them in terms of assists. They're a really young squad. They keep improving every year. They also added Al Horford this offseason, which brought in some experience, the one thing that Celtics were really lacking. I wouldn't be surprised if they upset someone in the playoffs. They might not finish with a better record than the Raptors, but in terms of who will have the most successful season going into the playoffs, I really do think Boston could be that team. The other thing that I think that could happen in the Atlantic Division is Linsanity 2.0. Now, I'm not saying that Jeremy Lin is going to have the kind of season that he did in 2012, where he's going to lead some sort of miraculous turnaround like he did with the Knicks, but I do think he could have his best season since then. Last season, he was backing up Kemba Walker for the Hornets, but now in Brooklyn, he's going to be the go-to guy. He's going to be maybe not the number one guy on the team, but definitely the starting point guard. Even though the Nets aren't a particularly good team, they did make some offseason moves that make them a little bit better. So I definitely think that Jeremy Lin could have his best year since his rookie season.
All right, and I'm going to look for the Raptors. Can they make the same strong playoff run as they did last season? They did fall short against the Cavs, but really no one really expected them to beat the Cavs. I think that the Raptors did make a smart choice in keeping DeRozan. That was a key for them going forward. They did lose Biyombo, which is kind of, considering the postseason that he had, I think that he was effective coming off that bench. But they did get Solinger, and I think that he will be a nice addition to the front court, and it should improve the team's rebounding coming in a reserve role. So I do expect the Raptors to, once again, top behind the Cavs. I don't think they're going to come first in the Eastern Conference. I think they will finish second. And I do expect them to make a playoff run and push for the finals again. As for the other team, I'm looking at the Knicks. The Knicks are a totally different team this season. They only have 5 players from last season total. They did manage to get 3 players from Chicago in Joakim Noah, Justin Holiday, and Derrick Rose, and I think those are nice additions that will help the Knicks going forward, and it will make them definitely a stronger team, and I think that is another team to look forward to in that division.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they pair up with Carmelo Anthony. Derrick Rose has described the Knicks as a super team. Definitely not a super team. They haven't made the playoffs for the last couple of years, so you can't really call a team like that super team no matter who they add. Let's move on to the Central Division. I'm going to start here with what I think is the most improved team in this division, and that's the Indiana Pacers. Paul George continues to be a really solid player. He is an all-star after his horrible injury a few years ago. He's come back. They also have Miles Turner. This is a guy that a lot of people might not have heard about yet. He's 20 years old. He's quickly turning into a really good player. He's strong and he's versatile. and he'll likely see a lot more court time this year.
I had the luxury of seeing him in the playoffs against the Raptors when I went down there, and let's just say that team support is definitely there, and they can do a lot of damage, especially Miles Turner. He's definitely a young and really good talent they have.
Yeah, and speaking of support, one of the things that the Pacers was missing last season is a good bench. And this year they added Al Jefferson. He's not nearly as dominant as he used to be, but coming off the bench, that's really going to help them. The other thing that I'm looking for in this division is the opposite, the team that I think is going to take the biggest step backwards, and that is the Chicago Bulls. They did get Dwayne Wade. They did get Rajon Rondo. I think those guys are way past their prime. I think that the losses they suffered in the front court are huge. Joakim Noah, and even more importantly, Pau Gasol. Jimmy Butler is an amazing player, but he's not going to be able to get this team back into the playoffs by himself. I think you could possibly see the Chicago Bulls at the end of this season thinking about rebuilding.
Yeah, I agree with you. And the only other team I see, and I don't think anyone's going to compete with them, is the Cavs. The Cavs are obviously the favorites to take the East this season again. And I don't think you can put anything past them. The only question is going to be asked is, can they compete with the Warriors? Can they repeat and become NBA champions again? As we saw last year, they are dominant. Being led by LeBron James is huge. He's a superstar. Not many players like him out there. And then you have Kyrie Irving. He's only getting better, this guy. He averaged 25.2 points per game in the playoffs. And that's huge. He really stepped up. He was providing that secondary scoring. You have Kevin Love after disappointing playoffs in 2015. He was not that great. People were talking about trading him, but he definitely stepped up to and answered his critics in the playoffs last season. So I'm expecting Kyrie and LeBron James to definitely have a good season, but Kevin Love's going to be huge if they want to repeat. He's going to have to carry that momentum that he's had and carry it throughout the whole season and into the playoffs, because obviously they're going to make it there. And he's going to be huge if they want to repeat.
All right, and this takes us to the third and final division in the East, and I'm going to go right back to you for this one. What are you looking for in the Southeast Division?
I'm looking at the Orlando Magic. They are going to be an improved team. I'm not sure if they are going to be a playoff team. They're definitely going to push for it, but so is every other team in this division. They are going to be a really hard team to score against this year. They have Ibaka, and he's a perfect defender. And then they added Biyombo. He is huge coming off that bench.
And literally too.
Literally huge. But he was amazing coming off the bench for the Raptors in the postseason. So he's a huge addition to this team in terms of defensive play. And this team has potential. The only challenge I see is their young talent up front is going to have to step up. I think defensive first mentality is perfect for this team, and then they can be competing for a playoff spot.
Yeah, like you said, everybody's going to be competing for a playoff spot in this division, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the Southeast to be the most closely contested division in the league. Like you said, the Magic have improved defensively drastically. Ibaka and Biyombo are going to be scary in the front court. They have Aaron Gordon, who's one of the most exciting young players in the league. Then they also have the Wizards in this division, who have a really good backcourt. They have John Wall and Bradley Beal, who, if they can have a strong season and stay healthy, could get the Wizards back into the playoffs after they were unable to make it last year. You have the Hawks, who I don't think will miss Al Horford if Dwight Howard can stay away from controversy. Dwight Howard is a better player, I think, but we all know he's had several issues with the teams that he's been on in terms of off-court problems and problems with coaches and teammates. And you have the Hornets, who were really impressive during their playoff run last season, and I think they'll be able to build off that confidence and have another really strong season this year. And finally, the Heat, which is the only team that I think will really struggle for a playoff spot in this division. They finished first last year, and losing Dwayne Wade and having Chris Bosh ruled out may not seem like that much on the surface, but they also lost guys like Joe Johnson. They lost a lot of experience, and there's still a lot of talent on this squad, but they're really going to need those young guys to step up if they want to maintain their playoff team status, and I think it's going to be a little bit tough for them.
Yes, that's going to do it for the Eastern Conference. We will post another video, so we're going to cut this one and move on to the Western Conference. So just click the next link, I guess. See you guys later.